Mexico is awesome, but when you rent a car in Tulum, you really need to know a few things in advance and be prepared. Having a rental car or scooter is great, but it can also come with some added issues. We will cover some of the potential concerns here, and most importantly, offer resources and suggestions on how best to handle them. One post I read recently put it best. Tourists are sometimes looked at as walking ATMs by the local police, or in this case, a rolling ATM. Fortunately though, in the state of Quintana Roo, with the local laws on the side of tourists, as long as you know what to do and what to say, there is no reason to become a rolling ATM for the local police. What you need to know up front: there is no legal way to pay a traffic fine on the spot in Mexico. Meaning at the time any ticket is written, if you give the police officer cash on the spot, even if they give you a receipt, it will still be a fake ticket and a fake receipt. It is simply extortion, aka theft. Fines can only be paid at a police station, but in Quintana Roo, if you are a tourist, unless you are drunk driving or have drugs on you, it is also illegal for the police to fine you for any minor traffic violation, even at the police station. Quintana Roo has attempted to curb the abuse of police extortion by writing a law stating minor traffic violations do not result in a fine for tourists, only a warning. But most local police act like they do not know this law, in hopes of scaring you into paying them money on the spot. Do not fall for it. Do not be a rolling ATM. In this video, we will be covering approaches that have proven successful when a police officer is lying to you and trying to steal your money. At the end of the video, we will also quickly list some additional and important do's and don'ts, including the best way to handle it if you're ever guilty of speeding. Some of these approaches may work better than others for certain people, so you will need to judge based on your own personality which one will work best for you. But most importantly, make sure you do not pay the bribe, and also make sure you report the incident, which we have outlined how to quickly and easily do here. Corrupt Tulum police officers are betting on your fear and anxiety. Fear because you don't know what you did wrong, or the law that is actually in your favor. Fear because you do not speak the language, because you don't know what's going to happen to you, or because other cars are forced to wait while they speak to you. Whatever the reason, they are banking on your fear, literally banking, that you will simply hand over all of your cash. Instead, be prepared and do one of the following. If you or a passenger have time, immediately begin recording the interaction. Get their face, if possible, either walking up to your car or as they are speaking to you. They will likely ask you to stop filming, but at least you will have them on camera, and this alone could deter them from pushing too aggressively. For people who speak a language other than Spanish or English, only speak that language. Try not to utter a single word in English or Spanish. Just politely listen and then calmly keep saying in your chosen language something to the effect of, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying," and try to look very confused. Do not get money out. Literally, just continue to look as confused as possible and continue to repeat, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. I don't know what you're saying." Sometimes 5 minutes or so of this alone is all that's needed for the police to give up and leave you alone. Even if you do know some Spanish, pretend you don't understand anything they are saying. This approach may help if the police officer does not speak any English. As we said before, just continue to look as confused as possible while repeating that you don't understand anything they're saying. Even if the police officer does know some English, in all situations, just continue to play dumb and pretend that you don't understand. And make sure to leave all money out of sight. Other than getting your driver's license, do not open your wallet. Unless you want to become a rolling ATM, it's very important not to show any money. Even if they use a phone for translation, telling you you owe money for a traffic violation, do not fall for this scam. They are breaking the law by fining you and taking your money. They can only legally write you a warning. It's important not to give up playing dumb too soon. The police are used to scaring tourists into handing them cash. It could take you a good 10 minutes of standing your ground and playing dumb before they give up and walk away. But if playing dumb isn't your thing, or it doesn't appear to be working, move on to the next step. Or if it feels best to you, start with the next step from the beginning. Show them this: the Quintana Roo Law stating they can only write you a warning, not charge you any fines. They frequently try to pretend you are wrong or that they've never heard of this law, and hope dismissing it will only scare you into handing over all your cash. They may even threaten to take your driver's license or the license plate on your car until you pay them. It is a legal practice if you were in another state and guilty of a finable violation, and if they actually wrote you a real ticket to pay at the station. But in Tulum, where you cannot be fined for minor violations, threatening to take your license or the plates is just used as a scare tactic. Do not fall for it unless you want to surrender all of your cash and or be forced to go to an ATM to get even more money. Even if they try to dismiss the law when you show it to them, tell them to write you a ticket. Use your hand to make a gesture like you're writing something. And if you remember, say, escribe. Do not worry. Remember, they cannot legally fine you for a minor traffic violation in Tulum. You are only calling their bluff by asking them to write you a ticket. They do not want you to go to the police station and expose their illegal request for a bribe. Most of the time, showing them the letter we have provided for you that includes the law should be all you need if choosing this approach over playing dumb. But if for any reason they continue to pretend they do not know about the law and insist on money, numerous Tulum expats swear by the approach of politely standing your ground and just continually and politely insisting on a ticket. Most police will have left you alone by this point, but if additional threats on your part are necessary, also start repeating El Jefe, Mañana, Mi Embajada. Just continue repeating these phrases We will list some additional words and phrases in Spanish in the video description for your reference if needed. They will figure out you are not a rolling ATM, not a pushover, and move on to an easier target soon enough. Before we cover some additional important do's and don'ts, remember, whether you ended up paying money to the police or not, if they still tried to get money from you, they were still breaking the law and harassing you. So please take the time to report it, as we have outlined how to do quickly and easily here. If you're pulled over for speeding, which may not technically be considered a minor traffic violation, playing dumb can still work if you stand your ground long enough. As we previously mentioned, they may say they have to keep your driver's license until you pay them. Do not cave in. Continue to play dumb and or follow all of the previous recommendations. In the off chance they do write you a real ticket and keep your driver's license as collateral until you pay at the station, the fee for a speeding ticket at the station, according to locals, is rather cheap, typically less than $15. Finally, if you are drunk and driving or have drugs on you, it is probably best that you just pay the bribe, since you did break the law and going to a police station will not be beneficial to you. But note, it is technically a federal offense for you to directly bribe the police officer. So if you are guilty of something other than a minor traffic violation and want to just pay the officer off and get on your way, do not just immediately offer him money. Play along like you're paying the ticket when he asks you, and then directly go on your way. If you are in this situation where you pay because you are guilty, I would still recommend hiding most of your money and keeping no more than 500 pesos or so in your wallet. If they see more, they will want all of your money before letting you go, or even demand you go to an ATM first. And guilty or not, they have still equally broken the law by taking money from you directly. So please still report them afterwards, which again, you can learn how to do quickly and easily here.